I think the board, Andrew, is taking this very seriously. I think they're being advised to put the interest of the company ahead of any interest they may have in Mr. Moonves' future. You'd expect them to get that advice, of course. You know, do what's right for the company, protect it, protect yourself potentially. But that's not. That's pretty serious advice, and one would expect if they do follow it, you know, you have a hard time seeing, in some ways, how Mr. Moonves, at the very least, is not going to be pushed aside pending investigation, if not just going to have a hard time keeping his job.
Jim Stewart, you think? Look, I think there's two issues here. A, does he keep his job long term, and in the very immediate term, do they suspend him pending this investigation?
Well, I think what we've seen at other companies is they do suspend pending the investigation. Maybe there's another side to this story. He made his statement in the article, but it certainly, to my reading of it, raised very serious questions. This wasn't just he wasn't just politely asking someone for a date, and when they said no, he said, okay, that's fine. It went way beyond that. I guess the best I could say is it's old. A lot of it is, I guess the most recent was roughly 10 years old, but in this environment, this is a consumer company.
But that was one of the questions, which is, in all of these situations, the timing. Meaning, does it matter if it took place a decade ago or 2 decades ago? And not to make light of any of it, but do these, dare I say, even social norms, which is such a terrible phrase, does that have any impact on, you think, the way the board or others think about any of this?
Well, first,
and by the way, there is no social norm which allows either assault or people to pounce on other people. So let's just put that out there.
No, I think first is the court of public opinion, and that's important for CBS. I mean, people are turning that network on or off every day, and this could affect that. So I think in the court of public opinion so far, no, there's no statute of limitations. People are not making fine judgments about, oh, have they reformed? Did it happen 2 days ago? Did it happen 10 years ago? No. Then there's the legal issue, where also I don't think the timing matters. I mean, they have a serious issue here. In today's environment, they're sending a message to the rest of the company, to their viewers, their advertisers. I don't see how they get around this. I mean, they've got to do the investigation, but I don't see how he's been a great executive. It's sad. I mean, he's wildly popular with advertisers.
Yep.
You know, some employees are coming forward, but you know, that too doesn't matter. It's no defense that you were nice to 5 people if you attack 2 others. You know, that's just not going to play either in the public opinion or in court.
Hey, David, you know, we talked about the stock price of Viacom, and does this raise the prospect that there's more likely to be a merger? If Les Moonves is not in the top job at CBS, do you see them merging and coming together, or could you see that both of them, both companies, remain independent?
You know, listen, I think it does increase the potential likelihood that you see a combination. Right now, it seems everybody is focused, including Sherry Redstone, on the investigation that is going to potentially take place here. She, of course, is also a member of this board, we should remember. And it does seem that's where the focus is. I think you kind of have the dust settle. Not that it's going to take that long to settle, potentially, Andrew, in terms of Mr. Moonves' future. And then we see, you know, who becomes the interim CEO or the CEO of CBS after him, if in fact he steps down. Joe Iannello is currently the number 2, most likely to step in. But you certainly have to believe, as the market did on Friday, that it does increase the likelihood for it. But I think it's a bit early right now to start to really focus on that, although it is worth remembering they had agreed more or less on price, 0.6135 CBS shares, but it was the key, and I, of course, reported on this many, many times, objections of Mr. Moonves to Bob Bakish, the current CEO of Viacom, being a part of the company really in any way. That was the key stumbling block, and then led, as Jim has reported as well, to what is just a terrible relationship between Sherry Redstone and Les Moonves. One thought, though, as well on just Mr. Moonves' future, and Jim, you know, I'd love your thoughts as well. I mean, so often has been the case, there are more allegations that come. I mean, Ronan Farrow is working on this story for 8-9 months. He did get a number of people to speak, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't others out there as well. Now, there are women who've come out in support of Mr. Moonves, but my understanding is there certainly may be others who have yet to tell their story. And then you look at his pay package. You know, the man can walk away with $180 million if he was terminated without cause, and a production deal. You just wonder whether it might be in his best interest to figure out a way to settle and at least maintain what was an incredible reputation as an executive.